Hello, everyone. I'm Yubo Kou, an assistant professor from Penn State. I'm going to talk about toxic behaviors in team-based competitive gaming, and my study site is League of Legends. Today, it has been well known that toxic behaviors pose a serious challenge to online games, and League of Legends is oftentimes cited for its players' toxic behaviors. As a brief description, League of Legends is one of the largest esports games today. In League of Legends, two teams, each composed of 5 strangers, fight against each other. Here are 2 examples of toxicity in my own experience. In the first one, the player admitted that they were trying to lose the game from the very beginning. In the second, the player used offensive words to attack their teammates. So what can I do? I can report toxic players. I can select from the 7 toxic categories, click the report button, and then let the moderation system do the rest, such as assessing toxicity and issuing punishments. But there is at least one problem with this process. This is a report function from the year of 2012. If you look closely and compare, there isn't much difference in terms of how players report and what categories players can pick from. The vocabulary remains about almost the same after 8 years, and this is a problem. So we can consider the official toxic classification as platform rules, and then how players feel about toxic behaviors as norms. Previous literature has characterized the platform rules as static, ambiguous, and having unintended consequences. Therefore, there is oftentimes a mismatch between rules and the norms. What this study did is to try to establish a toxic classification based on how players themselves understand and experience toxic behaviors. Through online data analysis, we produced a new toxic classification in League of Legends. Compared to the official one, we identified emergent types of toxic behaviors, refined all the official types, and defined mutually exclusive categories of toxicity. Due to the time limit, I will just highlight 4 observations. First, toxicity is highly related to its context. In a highly competitive context, the most important things that players care about are winning the game, and whether certain behaviors are toxic seems to be secondary to them. They could tolerate toxic teammates as long as they're good and carrying the game. And even friendly people could become toxic if they're going to lose the game. Second, in our data, there are almost always certain negative emotions associated with toxicity. People who experience negative emotions like frustration and anxiety could become toxic towards their teammates. Their teammates, in turn, could experience negative emotions too, and even propagate toxicity. So this is basically a vicious cycle. In the third point, I wanted to stress that toxicity is also ordinary in the sense that it's a competitive and stressful gaming context, and many players could exhibit toxicity at some point. The fourth point I wanted to make is that there is a particular type of toxicity, like the player said. They pretended that they were lagging, but they really just wanted to lose the game. I think this is the most problematic one, and also the most insidious type, because it is deceptive and because it tries to bypass the moderation system. Lastly, there are 2 general design implications. First, moderation design should consider how to make their toxic classification up-to-date and more aligned with player norms. Second, we should support punished players. There can be more constructive and proactive ways to help punish the players, such as explaining to them why they're toxic, and perhaps something beyond the game, like how to promote and teach emotion management in video games. That's all. Thank you very much for watching this.